Just wanted to give an update on my experience microdosing Iboga. And I think it's safe to say that the honeymoon period is over. um, the first week was very pleasant. There was a lot of like well-being and optimism and energy. I was very productive. And then the last few days, it's like a train crash. Just like totally took a nosedive. About 4 days ago, it was like hitting a brick wall. It was just like all of a sudden, all this like really intense, like emotional baggage stuff came up, and that was it. It started like that, and then the last few days have been it's leveled out a little bit. It hasn't been quite as intense, but there's been a lot of like anger and criticism of other people. And I think the anger is like I think it's from what I understand, it's like a surface level emotion, and it's like it's there to protect something. It's like there's a more vulnerable sort of tenderness underneath that the anger is creating some kind of protection for. At least that's how I understand it, and that's kind of how it feels. It's like a defensiveness, and this feeling of like combativeness, like wanting to argue and sort of like you're not so great, like kind of like it. This is like pre-verbal thinking. It's almost like thoughts that aren't even mine. It's like they're coming from somewhere else, and it's like you have to be really sort of you have to be really paying attention to catch these, and I think this kind of stuff is happening constantly, but it's like I've it's this little, it's like an impulse. It doesn't even have words, but it's like just kind of like a feeling, like a trigger. When I see something, I'll like, it's like I'll pick some detail out of their outfit or whatever, and like, well, that's not so cool, and it has nothing to do with them. It's their outfit's awesome, they're awesome. It's like but it's totally just some kind of defense mechanism that I've developed. The and it's this similar with the criticism. It's like this. I think it's an expression of my own self-worth. It's like wanting it's like a comparison, and then sort of criticizing somebody else because it's showing me where I feel lack in myself, like that I'm not good enough in some kind of like narrow frame of reference. And so it's it's been challenging. It's been a pretty rough couple of days. Um, I from what I gather, and so far this is my experience, is that this medicine has a way of showing you these things, these patterns and these habits and these behaviors that you've developed from an early age, that were really there to protect you, to serve you in some way, to sort of help you navigate whatever environment or whatever circumstance you were in. But they're not really helpful anymore. They've long since they've been unhelpful for a really long time. But but that's what it feels like is happening, is like this. I'm being reflected, and I'm being shown these patterns, that are really, not helpful anymore, but that, stuff that it's like programs that I've been running since childhood. So in the last video, I spoke about the synchronicities that have been happening, and how it really feels like there's an increase in synchronicities. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm paying more attention. It doesn't matter, but my experience is that there are definitely more synchronicities. It's like the things that are happening have more depth to it. There's more depth to the story of what's happening when I meet somebody. The things that they say carry a different kind of weight, and a lot of the messages, a lot of the things that people have to say in these chance encounters seem to be they're hitting very particular notes. It's like they're hitting things that resonate in a way. It's like, things that I've been thinking about, maybe a dream that I had or something. It's like they'll say something that really like speaks to something very specific, and it's kind of it's uncanny, and exciting. It's really exciting, but it's like wow, there's something going on, and so a lot of these, I've been having these random encounters, some of them with friends, and we'll talk, and it's like there's been a lot of like hard truths. It's like I've been getting, having these conversations, getting these messages that are like that have been really uncomfortable for me. Having to hear or be told things about myself that are difficult to hear. It's uncomfortable. And it's not, it's all out of love. It's not, I'm not being criticized, but it's like it's sort of like constructive feedback or something. But it's like these random encounters where somebody has a message that is like that has to do with this, reflecting the habits, being shown this sort of shadow of myself that I'm, and it's like it hits on these things that are like I'm aware of them. Like it's like it's not news to me, but it's still there. It's not something that I've really figured out how to deal with, and so or it's been kind of in the background. And so someone will say something, and it's like it just really hits. So that's been interesting. I've been, oftentimes with these friends, it's sort of, very argumentative, combative, but it's like that's the energy that's coming through is like this. It's not a need to physically fight, but it's like a verbal thing. It's like wanting to rant, it like wanting to just kind of like yell and like complain about shit, and so it's been, I've been having to really kind of keep that in check. It's like I have a lot of awareness around that, so that I don't say something that I'll regret, or say something that hurts somebody else. Some of the other random encounters have been with people that I don't want to see. Some of them with friends, they have messages or something. Some of them have been with people that it's like maybe we had a fight a long time ago, and it's like it hasn't been an issue for a long time. It's like I thought all of that story was kind of gone, and then I'll like come around the corner and randomly see this person, and it's like I'm triggered by it. It's like I have like a strong emotional reaction to being around this person, and it's not normally like that. Again, it's like there, there's a story, there's some reason for it, but that has long since been put to rest. We resolved it or whatever, and so it's like So it's surprising to then, it's like that comes back. It's like, oh, this thing's still here. Why am I feeling triggered by this person's presence? And so that this is like another front that these things are happening on with various people. And then there's like another thing that's been happening where like like one example is like I'm at a coffee shop and I see a girl and like we make eye contact and we're there's some like social cues there, like and it's like, go talk to the girl, like it's like I want to go talk to her, but I hold myself back. I don't act on the impulse, and I sort of talk myself out of it or something. I don't jump on the opportunity. Opportunities missed, and then there's a stagnation, that it's like that energy didn't, I didn't act on the impulse, and then now I'm sitting with that disappointment or the regret of not acting on the impulse, which then is like bottling up some kind of emotion. And so there's little like mini stories like that have been happening where it's like I think the takeaway is just like there's an impulse to do something. It's like if my mind was turned off and my self-judgment was not there, like talking to the girl, it's like, oh, like what, I'm not good enough, she'll reject me, or I'll say something stupid, or whatever that is. I don't I'm not even sure what it is that I'm holding back from, but my mind is in the way. And so it's like I feel like the goal is to get into that state where I'm just acting. I'm not thinking. I'm just moving through life, in some kind of a flow state, just doing what feels right in the moment without this sort of judgment and criticism and sort of backseat driving that my mind is doing. And so it's these little stories popping up where the opportunity to act on the impulse is there. I don't take it, and then there's this kind of bottling up of like that, like sitting with that sort of like disappointment, the knowing that I should have acted on it. There's some kind of emotional stagnation there, and so overall, it's like I feel like what's happening is that these behaviors are being revealed to me. These triggers and these hard truth discussions and these things that are being shown to me, reflected to me, that I'm observing in myself. I'm watching myself navigate the world and just watching myself reacting to these things. What am I seeing? And it all seems to be shining a light on some kind of unhealed trauma patterns, whatever. But it's like it seems to be rooted in my sense of self-worth. There's some deficit, there's some lack where, like, I think I'm pretty, like, I'm not devoid of self-worth, like I think I have, like, a lot of it. I have, it's like let's say like 90%. I have like 90% self-love, right? But there's like this 10%. There's this like small fraction of like these sort of compartmentalized areas where I haven't really like healed that. I haven't overcome that. I haven't developed that sense of like, stepping into that and being comfortable with myself and owning me. And so I feel like it seems like that's what a lot of this is showing, is it's reflecting all of this, and the general theme across the board seems to be that it's all connected to my sense of self-worth, my self-love, or the lack thereof. So, overall it feels good. Like, it's as uncomfortable as it is. It's been challenging. It's been a rough couple of days. But it feels good in a way that's like it's something. It's like it's movement. It's emotion coming through. It's like the feeling of losing control, which is a good thing. It's like I think part of my problem, I don't want to say problem, but it's like, for lack of a better word, it's like my thing is that I'm bottling up emotions, not letting them go through, like stoicism or something, just like, blank face. And so it feels good, even though it's uncomfortable and like rage inducing. And, there's moments where it's just like, I don't know what's happening. Like all I can like do is lay down or meditate or something, or it's like I have to get out of public spaces or whatever. But it's like it doesn't feel good in that sense. It's very uncomfortable, but there is a comfort in that it's at least it's something. It's like it's movement, and it feels it feels like, okay, great, things are shifting, like and now I don't know if we'll see how long this goes. I don't know if I can sustain it, or if it makes sense to sustain it, like if it doesn't sort of resolve itself. But so far I feel like I'm just at the beginning, so I'm gonna keep going. So it feels good. It feels horrible, but it feels great. The horrible feels great. And so yeah, I mean, I think that, and that's sort of where I'm going with this. My goal is to lose control. I'm tired of bottling up and controlling my emotions. I'm trying to lose control. I'm trying to cry, basically. And so great. Emotions are coming through. So let's see, I started, we're almost 2 weeks into it. I started about a week and a half ago. I cycled off of it for a few days. So, did it for 7 days, went off a cliff. I even had a dream about it. I was after, so I went for 7 days, went off a cliff, and then it's just been like emotional mayhem since. I cycled off of it for 2 days. Today started back up 2 drops in the morning so far, just a couple hours ago, total alkaloid tincture. And sorry, the dream, I feel like my mind is going off on these threads. It's hard to like hold a linear narrative, but I had a dream. And I won't talk about dreams too much, because I know listening to other people's dreams is boring as shit. But I think this was interesting, is that I was feeling good for the first 7 days, and then just totally plummeted. And maybe a couple days, 2 days later, I had a dream that I was in a helicopter. And I was flying straight up. There was maybe 4 other people in the helicopter, and we're flying straight up into the stratosphere. There's another pilot or another helicopter, and we're basically both controlling it together, but it's like out of control. It's like I can't really like I'm trying to manage what the direction that he's going is balancing the direction that I'm going, and so we're both kind of controlling this thing, and it's out of control, but we're flying really high up into the stratosphere, above the clouds, above the chemtrails. We're like really, really high up there. And then I look down below, and a huge black storm cloud moves in, like lightning, and just thick black smoky clouds just consumes everything below us. And then we lose control of the helicopter, and we plummet down into the storm, and we get under the cloud line, and then we're in a city, and it's like a huge city, and there's like highways everywhere, and cars and thousands of people, but everybody is gridlocked. All the cars are traffic jams. Everybody's trying to, like, it's like apocalypse. It's like everyone's trying to escape the city, evacuate, and it's just gridlock highways and streets and roads everywhere. And we plummet down, and then the next thing I know is I'm in a car, and we're trying to get to the airport, but to get a flight out to go to Saudi Arabia, of all places, but we're stuck in traffic. And there's more to the dream, but basically the gist of it was that we had flown really high. We were up really high, and then we plummeted down into the storm clouds, and it was just absolute chaos and mayhem and like destruction everywhere, like confusion. Everybody was confused, and it was just mayhem. And we were trying to get to the airport, and we were like stuck in that. We can't get out. So thanks for listening to my dream. Hopefully that wasn't too painful, but I think it's a good story. It's a good anecdote for like kind of how it feels like that. I think that's kind of what's going on, is like I was sort of feeling high, and then just went off a cliff, and now it's been this kind of like confusing, chaotic mayhem of like emotional turmoil, which is great, which feels great. That's what I want. That's what I wanted. That's what I'm here for. So good. The honeymoon's over. Now I feel like we can do some real work. All right. Thanks for watching.